Tammy, as a speech language pathologist, you have so much experience with helping people communicate in various situations. What are some things that I can try to have a good visit with my mother with lots of communication?
That's an excellent question, and I hear that a lot. I think the first thing is to talk about the here and now. So things that you can touch, feel, look at, maybe pictures of family, objects from that remind your mom of things from the past that she can reminisce about, or you can tell stories around, for example. Memory books and wallets are a nice way to set the foundation for a fun communication interaction. And memory books and wallets are basically exactly what they sound like. They're books that are like picture albums put together. They have generally fewer pictures on each page, and they have words and short phrases that describe what's going on in the picture. So the individual with dementia can still read and look at the book on his or her own, but the book also serves to set a topic for conversation, something that you can look at together and reminisce over.
Now, if I'm visiting my mother, what can I do differently if I'm speaking to her and she doesn't seem to understand what I'm saying?
Sometimes it's important to first establish that the individual you're communicating with is actually attending to you. And we talked about nonverbal communication a little bit, and touch is a very effective way to do that. Obviously, certain individuals may not like to be touched. In the mother-daughter relationship, that may be something that's very comfortable for you. And so you might just put a hand on your mother's arm so that she's looking at you. And also try to slow down your speech a little bit, mostly by being clear and adding pauses. So you don't need to slow down unnaturally, because then that's a little awkward.
Okay.
But slowing down by pausing, giving your mom a little bit more time to process the information, and being very clear in your pronunciation and your enunciation. So for example, instead of saying, "Mom, let's sit and look at this book together. It's been a long time since we've actually opened it up and had a conversation." That's a lot of information. So rather, "Mom, would you like to look at this book with me?" is a better approach. So getting attention, and then also using gestures, so verbal and nonverbal, and clear speech.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, so maybe could I give it a try? And so my mom loves to feed ducks, so I might say to her, "Mom, after lunch, you want to go for a walk and feed the ducks?"
Great. So good intentions, right? In a positive communication environment. The thing that I would recommend is using clear speech. So really slowing it down by adding pauses and really emphasizing certain keywords, as well making it simpler. So there were quite a few ideas in there: going for a walk, after lunch, feeding the ducks. So you might modify that and say, "Mom, would you like to go feed the ducks?" So simple. You've left out the walking part, you've left the after lunch part out, but that's okay, because she might not remember that anyway. And you've really hit to the core of what you're trying to communicate, which is the activity of feeding the ducks.
Excellent, thank you. That's great advice. So, Mom, let's go feed the ducks.
Excellent.
Like that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, much better.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, what if she's been hallucinating and she says something like, this afternoon I had lunch with my grandmother. How should I respond to that?
That can be a common problem for individuals in the middle stage of Alzheimer's disease. And one of the things you can try is to validate her feelings about that. So rather than focusing on the accuracy of what she's saying, because clearly that is not an accurate statement. So the natural instinct is to kind of correct and say, "Well, Mom, that's not possible because Grandma is no longer here," and then going into some explanation. Rather than doing that, better to think about what are the emotions behind what she's saying, and to validate those. So, "Oh, you enjoyed having lunch with Grandma, didn't you?" And then, "Are you getting hungry?" So it may be that she's feeling like she's hungry. It may be that she's thinking of something's popped into her head about your grandmother, or her grandmother. So validating the feelings behind that.
Yeah.
Likewise, if she was upset about something and saying, for example, maybe someone stole something from her and had broken into the house when you knew it wasn't true,
Yeah.
rather than arguing about whether it's true or false, validating the feelings such as, "That must have been very upsetting, and I can tell you're still upset. Let's reassure everything is okay, and then redirection to another activity. That always helps as well.
Redirection, that's a great idea,
Yeah.
because that does sometimes happen, that she
Yes.
thinks something's been stolen from her.
Yes.
And yeah, this has been so helpful, Tammy. Is there any last bit of advice you'd like to share with care partners?
I would say the most important thing to remember is to be patient. Be patient with yourself as you're trying new communication strategies, and be patient with your communication partner who has dementia. A lot of this will be trial and error. What works sometimes won't work other times. And so you have to keep at it. And you can do it.
Thank you so much, Tammy. There's a lot to think about here. I hope this helps you find new ways of communicating with someone who's living with Alzheimer's disease.